There is an exact number where most people stop lying awake at night about money, not when they become rich, not when they hit $1 million, a specific, measurable point where the constant background hum of financial anxiety just goes quiet, and it is a lot lower than you think. According to the latest Charles Schwab Modern Wealth Survey, Americans say it takes $839,000 to feel financially comfortable, not wealthy, not rich, comfortable. The number where you stop worrying about bills, stop checking your account out of fear, and start checking it out of curiosity instead. Let's actually break down what that number means and why it might be closer for you than you think. Here is the distinction nobody makes clearly enough. There are two very different thresholds in this conversation, and confusing them is what keeps people chasing the wrong number for years. Wealthy, the number people associate with yachts and private jets and never working again, sits at $2.3 million according to that same survey. That is the headline number everyone fixates on. But comfortable, the number where the actual day-to-day anxiety disappears, is $839,000, less than half. And here is the part that should genuinely change how you think about your own goals. Most of the relief people are chasing does not live at the wealthy number. It lives at the comfortable number. The difference between $839,000 and $2.3 million buys you a nicer car, a bigger house, fancier vacations. It does not buy you significantly more peace of mind than you already have at $839,000. The psychological return on each additional dollar drops off hard after that first threshold. People are chasing $2.3 million when the actual relief they are looking for shows up at $839,000. Now let's talk about where most people actually are, because this is where it gets interesting. The median household net worth in the United States right now is $192,900. The average, pulled up by a small number of extremely wealthy households, is over $1 million. But median is the more honest number because it tells you where the actual middle of the country sits, not where billionaires are dragging the average. By age, average net worth looks like this: about $139,000 in your 20s, $326,000 in your 30s, $750,000 in your 40s, and $1.36 million in your 50s. Notice something. The average 40-year-old is already sitting almost exactly at that $839,000 comfort threshold, which means the relief point is not some distant fantasy. For a lot of people, it is one solid decade of consistent saving and investing away. And here is something that should genuinely surprise you. To be in the top 10% of household wealth in America, you only need about $1.17 million to $1.9 million, depending on which year's data you use. Top 10%, not top 1%. Just over $1 million puts you ahead of 90% of every household in the country. The numbers that feel impossible from where you are sitting right now are statistically a lot more common than the culture around money makes them feel. Here is the twist that the survey data actually reveals if you read it closely. Financial happiness is not purely about hitting a specific net worth. Less than 1 in 5 Americans define financial happiness as reaching a certain number at all. What actually moves the needle for most people is much smaller than you would expect. A third of people say an extra $15,000 would noticeably increase their financial happiness for months. Some say even $5,000 would do it. What that tells you is that the anxiety most people carry around money is not really about the size of their net worth. It is about the gap between what they have and what they need to feel a basic sense of control. Paying bills on time without stress. Having an emergency fund that actually covers an emergency. Not flinching when the car needs a repair. That is not a $2.3 million problem. For most people, that is closer to a $20,000, $50,000, or $100,000 problem, depending entirely on where they are starting from. So here is the actual takeaway. Stop measuring yourself against the wealthy number, that $2.3 million figure that feels impossibly far away. Measure yourself against the comfort number instead, because that is where the relief actually lives. And if even that $839,000 number feels distant right now, remember that the real shift in how money feels usually happens long before you get there. It happens the moment your emergency fund actually covers an emergency. The moment your savings stop feeling fragile. That moment comes a lot sooner than the headline numbers make it seem. If nobody ever broke these numbers down for you, honestly, that is what this channel is for. Subscribe and let me know in the comments. Where do you think you stand against these numbers? I will see you in the next one.